Well, hello, my beautiful Scorpio. Welcome to my channel. This is Baba Jolie here with your career and money reading for the end of October, right through the end of November 2025. I've already cleansed your space and have meditated on your cards. For those of you who are returning, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for all your wonderful likes, shares, and subscribes. I am truly grateful for all your beautiful energy. Just a little reminder though, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one reading, just so you're aware. Also, please be mindful, scammers are about, pretending to be me and lots of other tarot readers. I do not do personal readings and I will never reach out to you personally to offer one. Also, I will never ask you for money, e-gifts, or donations. So if anyone masquerading as me asks for anything at all, please report them or ignore them. It is a scam, okay? Let's move straight on with your reading. Now, I will be using Gaia chimes, so please be mindful to turn down your volume if you are someone who is sensitive to sound. So let us start your reading and let us begin. Okay, my beautiful Scorpio, this is your career and money reading. I'm going to get all of your cards first before I connect to an outcome. So let us begin. Thank you so much, Spirit Guides, Guardian Angels. Can you please guide my beautiful Scorpio? What do they need to know at this time regarding their career and their finances? Can you please show them the way? What is to come? What do they need to be aware of? So we have the Hermit energy. So you're definitely reaching for something more in your life, being inspired as the next couple of weeks unfold there. But also, the Hermit can indicate that either some of you are thinking about going solo, or perhaps you are limiting distractions because you've got a lot to do. So this is a period of, coming out the other side of something as well. I feel a lot of you are deep in research. This is a period of new knowledge. Of course, a lot of that knowledge is within yourself, but this can be a period of you reaching for something that is truly going to be successful indeed. But I'll tap into that energy as I move forward. Really interesting. I'm loving your outcome there because you have the Emperor and the Fool card. Now, the Emperor, of course, is all about structure, strategy, bossing up in some way, taking the lead in your career sector, and maybe even thinking about structures for your wealth there as well. But also you got the Fool card, so portioning off some money to have a little bit of fun perhaps, being able to save a bit, keep balance when it comes to your finances. But the Fool is also like you trying to have fun with what you're doing. Although it's hard and you're serious, you need to love what you do, and that will help you springboard to more. Now, if you're already a business owner yourself, you work as your own boss, I see some of you branching out or launching something more independent that is going to have a ripple effect and bring in a lot of excitement there. Now, whoever you are and whatever you're doing, what I'm hearing right now is applause. I'm just hearing loads of people clapping. It's almost like I'm at a stadium or at some sort of large event. Right now, I could just hear lots of applause. So either whatever you're doing will have a larger reach, or perhaps people will be championing you. I mean, you tend to be the person who has to champion yourself, okay? You're the sort of person who shows up, bring your A game, and of course always goes that extra mile. Oh, wow, you got a 9 of Cups. What's happening, my beautiful Scorpio? There's some really good stuff going on here. But I feel you could get a lot of attention regarding whatever it is you do. Or perhaps you complete something or launch something or start something, or maybe it's like a winning idea that is in motion at this moment in time. But whenever I hear applause, it means you are recognized, you are accomplished at something, but also it tends to mean that, there is some sort of reward, some sort of victory, a win of some sort, being appreciated for what you're doing. Look at these 9s. We've got another 9 of Pentacles, being financially independent. I see a lot of you working towards that at this time. But also there's something brewing here. I feel something bubbling up. Maybe it's an idea, maybe it's a new way of working, or you're formulating a plan. Whatever it is, when it's in motion, you're doing something bold and daring and different, and you are in command. It just feels like you are the power behind something here. We have the Page of Swords, yes, investigation. We got Seven of Swords. You know, I would say just be a little bit mindful of any legal documentation. Make sure you get it, looked over. We'll go into that in a moment. We got a Seven of Swords, which means don't go too quickly, because if you go too fast, there may be something that you miss or misstep on regarding some sort of like legal documentation, because you have the Justice card there, okay? I mean, this can apply to your personal life as well. Anything that you're setting up, applying for, launching, always read the fine print. Make sure you do your due diligence, and, you want to... Wow, you got the Magician card. 2 major Arcana cards at the end of your November. So this is a monumental time for you, my beautiful Scorpio. Whatever it is you're doing, I feel like you're on the road to success. That is for sure. And I'm all for it for you. Cheerleading you along. Come on, you can do this, because whatever it is you're moving towards, I feel there's a lot of strength here. I feel like you're really busy and you are locked onto a vision, and you're not going to stop until it's done. So let's get straight to it. Now, the Hermit, initially it tells me you're exhausted, okay? A lot of you are feeling the weight of the world on your shoulders. You have a lot on your to-do list. The Hermit tends to remove from distraction or remove from things that don't align. So a lot of you could be sorting through your career right now going, okay, I need to do this, but perhaps it takes up too much time. You're trying to be more time efficient. A lot of you may be looking at new tools or practices that can help you be more efficient or be more strategized or locked on to time saving. That's what I'm seeing there. A lot of you are thinking about your schedule at this time as well. But the Hermit, is reaching for the star. And the star is all about inspiration. It's about success. It's a wish in your working environment. And because you have the 9 of Cups, you're definitely wishing for something. You're contemplating a move. I mean, I feel like you're going to get a wish come true, whatever this is. A lot of you, it is financial independence, or for some of you, it could be like being your own boss or structuring an entity to run your own business. Doesn't have to be like that. It can be that, you're a creative and you're running your own business right now and you're wishing for things to pick up pace a little bit more. I definitely see some more activity, more clients, more attention going on in your industry, whatever it is that you do, of course. So I feel if some of you have been a little bit worried about your industry, there's definitely an uptick here of movement and improvement. And the Magician card indicates you're very gifted, very talented, and you're amalgamating all of these energies within yourself to create something really special. You're forging a path in order to either step into promotions or step into positions of authority or power in your industry, and you're going to be noticed, okay? So whoever you are, whatever you're doing, I feel like this is a time to elevate for you, and the next 6 weeks are going to be monumental indeed. Now, I do want to address anyone who is currently out of work. With that Hermit energy, some of you may feel so far removed from the working environment right now. You're reaching for something. You're actually putting your resume out there, and you feel it's a bit of a cold, dark place regarding, hires and things like that at this moment in time. But a path is being made clear for you is what I'm seeing. And I'm being given this energy of being really precise, because whatever it is you're doing, I feel a lot of you are investigating a niche environment. So even though we've got this Page of Swords energy, you may be looking at new environments or migrating your skills in some new sector is what I'm seeing. Because a lot of you, there is this, I don't like this word, the way it's coming out. It's like cross-pollination, okay? But I mean, it makes sense. It's very business jargon like. But I'm just being given this energy of a lot of you have these skills and fresh new ideas on how to revamp these skills, but to migrate them into either a new sector. So if you're looking for a role, for a job, I feel some of you may be contemplating something right now with that Page of Swords. You may be looking into it, but I mean, you're ending up there with an Emperor and a Fool card. So this tells me that a lot of you, well, if you're looking for a role, I feel a lot of you are thinking about being your own boss. There are skill sets and knowledge that you have that you could make your own business, okay? So a lot of you could be writing, because you have that Page of Swords. You could be writing like documents on how to do what you do, the skill sets that you have, or the pitfalls in your industry, things to avoid, you know, the legalities of structuring it, or the way of working in your industry. You could be writing like a manual or a book or a course online for some of you to help others. And you could be formulating this as you're currently looking for new work. But I do see like a role of status coming in for you. So if you're trying to work with a company, I see that there is some sort of hierarchical system where a person in a position of power really enjoys your work and they hire you. It feels almost immediate. You're going to get the job there. I mean, some of you will return to an interview process. So there may be 2 interviews here. There's going to be on an interview panel, if you're going for an interview, there's going to be one person who seems really kind of like, I don't want to say it like this, but I have to. It's almost like they're a little bit faux or fake, or, you know, they seem distracted, but they're like, oh yeah, great, everything's like fine. You know, this person is really assessing you. I want you to be aware of that. And actually you're passing all their tests. I feel like you win the room, okay? But don't let this kind of faux-ness, if that is a word, kind of distract you, okay? Because I'm being given this energy that sometimes being misunderstood is often the price of being real. And this person, there's a moment in the interview process where they may kind of misunderstand what you are about or what you say, and they'll ask you to explain yourself. They're putting you on the spot on purpose. It's a test. I want you to be aware of that. You pass it, of course. You've got your smarts, you've got your knowledge, you know what you're about. Don't let it faze you. This person needs to kind of almost test you to see if you're worthy of the working environment that they feel like they're working in right now. This person tests everybody, okay? And they just want to see if they could rub you up the wrong way, because I feel they are aware of someone in the working environment who is very testing, okay? And this person, when you actually get hired, you're actually going to build a really firm bond with this person, okay? They're not like that. Normally, they're just putting on like an act. You see through it. You see through it. You see through the mask. I want you to be aware of that. And they love what you're about. You actually even make them smile and make them laugh regarding the industry. You're just being your authentic self. So continue, you know, as you are. You're someone who is very established. You have a lot of knowledge. Do not let this person faze you. You're already in the room because they love your resume, okay? They already see that you have the information, the smarts. They know that you go that extra mile, because that Page of Swords indicates if you don't know something, you dig it out. You are resourceful like that. And I feel like you are the perfect candidate. You may not know that already. They are thinking that, okay? Because that 9 of Cups there indicates that you are someone that they wish to work with. And I feel this person just needs to give you that final test, but you pass it, okay? You may even, I mean, you'll conduct the interview as you best know how. Don't worry about it. They just need to know if you are up to the challenge, which of course, you're showing up as the Strength card, as, you know, that lion energy. So this is about you knowing your stuff, really commanding the room, okay? So just know that you're in the room for a reason. They already like you. They already know that you can do what you say you can do. They probably even checked out your resume before you even got to the interview process. And now they just need to know what you're about. And you leave the room with them realizing that you're a little piece of magic. Okay, so just be aware of that. Have confidence in yourself. You're going to ace the interview. And I feel it's a position of status. Okay, of course, with a position of status, there comes finances with that. I feel with the Magician and the Strength card, it's like you're wishing for something here. And although you don't have any pentacles as your outcome, you do have a 9 of Pentacles in your resistance. So this tells me, you know, it's normally in this position like this, but it will go into the upright. So it tells me that the role that you get is a fair amount of money, but you will compound on that later on as you grow in this industry. So there's more money for the taking as you evolve in this role. Okay, so I feel that's very exciting there. 7 of Swords, some of you may need to negotiate the finances as well, just so that it becomes fair. So there may be a little bit of a discussion back and forth going on there as well, okay? Don't feel rushed. Don't feel put on the spot. Just own the room. So I'm just going to leave it like that, but I do see you signing some contracts. Again, I would say anyone who's signing contracts during the next 6 weeks, just, you know, double down on the details. I mean, I know you always would, because of course that Page of Swords is like you are investigating every single word, every single sentence, up, down, left, right, back to front. You've got it, okay? But just because there is a Seven of Swords there, it just means that there may be something that is missed if you're in a rush, or if you just kind of like glance through it. I know you never would, but this is just a little friendly nudge to remind you not to do that, okay? And that's across the board. If you're purchasing something as well on a personal level, or even for your business, if you run a business, just make sure that, you know, all the terms and conditions align with what you intend for your path ahead. You completely dominate, and of course you can always return and fix something, okay? But I would say that just to avoid any delays, you know, you don't want to misstep. So I'm just going to leave it like that. Congratulations. I see a lot of you getting an opportunity here, and you're going to be very excited about it. It feels very much like you're in a commanding role there, okay, that requires your skill set. So with a lot of love and respect, I'm going to move away from that energy. For everybody else, the Hermit is an energy where you may feel, especially in the working environment, that you do a lot of heavy lifting. You're doing a lot of work, okay? Sometimes you may feel, because looking at the energy, it's like you clear down your work quite quickly, you're organized, and you may feel that you're exhausted because you're doing a little bit more than everybody else, and it's challenging, it's really hard. So you want it to be a little bit more fair in the working environment. So some of you may actually have an appraisal or a meeting with a boss, if you have a boss there, with that Emperor energy, in order to kind of like highlight that you're going above and beyond. And they're already aware of this. And with the Emperor energy, a lot of you, if you work for a company, I feel you're being set apart. The Hermit is to be set apart from others. So with that Emperor energy, a lot of you, there could be talks about promotions or some sort of elevation in your industry. And of course, you know, Nine of Pentacles, nice little extra piece of finances there. You know, the Nine of Pentacles, when it goes into the upright in this position, it tends to tell me that for some of you, not all of you, it depends on the industry you're in, there could be some sort of commission or bonus or small increase that you get to portion away. Now, this could be in alignment with inflation, for example, getting a little bit extra there. But for some of you, this could be talk, because we have the Justice card there. This is all about communication, back and forth, legalities. A lot of you could be told in an appraisal, because Nine of Cups can be like shining a spotlight on, you know, all the attributes that you have, but also all the, you know, fulfilling tasks that you've done throughout the year. And the Page of Swords, of course, is, you know, some sort of meeting or communication, or, you know, an understanding that you're going to be offered something more in your line of work, whatever that is, okay? So even if you're an independent worker, it can be that, you know, if you run your own business, you're like, oh, okay, I'm going to portion off the money and give myself a little bit extra to invest. A lot of you are investing this money, whatever this money is for you. For some of you, this could also be money from past situations. So it could be that if you've just done a tax return, for example, it could be a tax rebate. You're getting a little portion of money back there, and you are putting it to good use, is what I'm seeing there. A lot of you are actually trying to learn about wealth structures in order to compound your wealth for things like generational wealth, 401ks, pensions, and things like that, because the Hermit is an energy of maturing. So you're looking at maturing your finances, and I would say that you're sticking to some sort of financial strategy or plan, whether you're in a career or not right now. I definitely see here you're looking at your savings goals in order to mature whatever it is that you have, so you can build your wealth, because that Nine of Pentacles is to be financially free, both in, you know, your current circumstances as well as your 401ks, pensions, and things like that. It's all about financial growth. But I feel this next couple of weeks for a lot of you, this is about you wishing for something, reaching for something more, reflecting on what would truly make you happy in the working environment, and you're moving towards that. I feel a lot of you, this is a dream come true opportunity coming up for you as well. I mean, I feel you took yourself there. I feel like you're self-made. I feel like you did this all by yourself. Even if you had moments of doubt, I feel like you're backing yourself and you're just, you know, unsure of the path, but you just trust. You're having faith. The Hermit energy, of course, is all about wisdom, reflection, and this Nine of Cups normally does not have, you know, a lake there with, you know, a reflection on it. But this deck, I love this deck there. Normally it is, of course, about wishes, fulfillment. But I feel, as you can see, there's like this vast environment of ice. And then there's this beautiful pool of water. So I feel either you had an idea that you've been on hold with or on ice with, or perhaps, you know, you felt a little bit like you've been working on autopilot, you know, you're exhausted there, and suddenly, you know, all your ideas are starting to bubble up and formulate a plan, and it just feels like things are starting to unfold for you right now. You're inspired, and you're starting to see, or you will in the next 6 weeks, a reflection of all the hard work. You're starting to see the rewards. You stood your course. You are, you know, someone who's very strong in having the courage of your convictions there. And you're wishing for something more. You're aligning yourself with something, and you need to feel fulfilled in your working environment, because this is the protagonist energy. And the Magician card, that's why I'm so excited that this is an outcome energy, because it's like what you're wishing for, you're manifesting. You have infinite resources within yourself to make this happen. You're very talented, very gifted, and you go that extra mile. And it's like you're prepared for this success because you made it happen. Now, I'm hearing this song right now, and it is intense, okay? I almost want to just leave your reading and get up and do some serious, like, moves, right? You know, it is very inspiring, this song. Oh, it has lyrics as well. It sounds a bit like a club tune, right? I'm hearing, get ready for this, and it's, like, really intense. Oh my gosh, I do remember this song, and it is by 2 Unlimited. And oh my gosh, so I feel this is going to be a very fast-paced couple of weeks for you based on this song, but also it's like you're in the flow. It's like you're excited about something. It's like you just have the energy, the flow, the drive to get through your projects and get everything structured and done. I mean, you're serious about your plans. You're locked onto a goal, and there's just so much success here. A lot of you are trying to get everything done so that you can maybe take a break there, or you can go off and have fun, of course, because we have that Fool card, which is a very playful energy. But some of you, if you run your own business, you could be launching something that has a ripple effect for the rest of your working life there to be more independent. There's a cat on this card for independence there. You know, even if you work for a company, it can be that, you know, you're going to be working more independently on something that you're excited by, that has a lot of potential. You could be communicating with, you know, people in positions of authority, or if you are that person who's in a position of authority, it can be that you're making new alliances at this time, and you know, you're about to embark on a new adventure in your working environment. And there's a lot of success with this and a lot of power there with that as well. So I feel like, you know, you are trying to lock on to your goals and be very structured. But a lot of you also are like observing your performance on something, or, you know, you are very logical about what you need to do, very strategic, very structured. But this song, it may play over the next coming weeks and months. Definitely bust a move to it, because I feel it in my soul and in my energy, probably because I'm a Scorpio, but, you know, it really is making me feel this buildup of excitement on something. I am being given another lyric to it right now as well, which is, oh, race in the place, no time to waste. Okay, so yep, you're going to be busy. I would definitely say you're going to be busy, but you're taking it in your stride is what I see there. So listen out for that song, because I feel it coincides with some success or some really great news. But it's almost like looking at the energy. You're like, okay, I know what I need to do. I'm moving forward. Yes, there's success. Yes, I should celebrate, but actually I'm on to the next thing. I'm being really strategic. Allow yourself a moment to really like acknowledge how far you've come, that you're doing such a great job. You've come so far, and actually, you know, there's more to come. So that's very exciting there as well. Now, Page of Swords is very vigilant. Okay, so a lot of you could be, especially with that 9 of Cups, if you run your own business, you could be thinking about promoting or marketing or getting your message out there in some way. For some of you, you could literally go global with that world there. You know, this is all about communication. You have something to say, you have something valid to impart to others. So you could be, you know, having, you know, video calls overseas, or you could be actually expanding your reach on your business if you run your own business there. For some of you, if you're online, I mean, the Nine of Cups is a spotlight. It's literally you being seen for what you do. So whether you work for a company or whether you work for yourself, this is about truly being seen. You've been waiting for this moment for quite a while, is what I see there. And that Page of Swords is communication, almost like a validation that you've been paying attention, you've been getting new knowledge. A lot of you have been, upgrading your skills, or, being very voracious for new information to inform you in order to foster new habits there, and new knowledge will help open up new pay grades for you there as well. Your knowledge is literally the key to your success. But a lot of you could be digging a little bit deeper. This is a card of research. So you could be, as I said, strategizing a plan right now, researching a new project or a new way of working or a new path or even a new country for some of you to align with. And I would say that, like, if you are online, going global or, going viral, things like that, you're an influencer. But this could also be that you are creating some sort of link, as it were, to communicating what you're about to others. So fostering some sort of networking opportunity. I mean, Page of Swords, especially swords, can be new tools. It can be you utilizing technology in some way in order to create a little bit more structure. A lot of you are focused on your schedule and making sure that you have a habit formation that sees you structured and on top of your working life, but also your private life as well, to make sure that you're on top of your bills, that you're taking down debt there. A lot of you, if you have a repayment plan that you are bound to, because of course that can be a contract there, it can be like a mortgage repayment or repayment plans or anything that's legally bound to you that you have to pay. I feel you're on top of that. And you may even be, I would say, there's two things coming through that are trying to distract me right now, so I'm just going to park that there and I'll talk about them in a moment. But I feel like you're on top of things and you're very instinctive. Okay, so I feel like there's a structure. So if you've got like direct debits, they're just coming out there. One of the things that are trying to distract me is that for some of you, if you have a direct debit for something that you pay all the time, just be mindful it may be taken out early in the next couple of weeks there, and this could incur a charge. Now, you have signed a contract for a direct debit service that specifies a certain date, okay? So if, for example, you pay your bills on the 2nd of the month, right? Just after you get paid, if you get paid on the 1st, for example, just an example here, okay? 2nd of the month, your bills all go out. Some of you may see that some bill, especially there's one, I feel there's one in particular that may be really cheeky and take the bill round about the 28th or 27th of the month before, so maybe even like nearly a week before, certainly 4 days or more before is what I'm seeing there. So make sure you have enough in your account, but also if they try to take it and you don't have enough in there, or perhaps they try to penalize you for it, you can contest this, okay? You can get advice on this, or you can contest this and say, hey, we have a contract. You broke the contract by taking a direct debit earlier than you should. You cannot penalize me. In fact, if anything, I feel like they could compensate you for doing it because they broke a contract. So just be a little bit mindful of that. Okay, that's coming through there as well. Second thing needs to come forward now because I got the second energy. Thanks so much, I'm so grateful. Yeah, I would say just during the next 6 weeks, just keep an eye on your direct debits or payments that normally go out, because similarly, there could be something that you feel is already taken care of, and then there's a glitch or something within a financial institution that you're connected to, because you have protector cards, okay? So I'm not trying to cause paranoia or anything like that, but I'm just saying that perhaps something that you normally pay on time, either it gets taken early or, it gets taken late. So just be a little bit mindful of that. I would say over the next 6 weeks as well, just, download some statements of your finances just to document the wealth that you have in your accounts, just in case there's any glitches, just because we do have the Justice card and the Seven of Swords appearing in the same position, okay? So this could be that you're digging a little bit deeper to find out the root cause of what happened there, but, you know, you won't be able to do that unless you have documented evidence, especially if there's a glitch with any financial institution there. There could be just an app glitch or something like that. Just document it, okay, by saving down a statement. You can just delete those statements later, but, you know, always good to be savvy. So that's coming through. Now, Page of Swords, this is you bubbling up with ideas. As I said, this is all your protagonist energy. You're wishing for something, you're strategizing something, you're locked onto that vision, that goal. The Justice card indicates that, yeah, it's unfair, especially with the resistance position energy at first. It can indicate that you feel a little bit out of balance because you have a lot more work than usual. A lot of you are holding it all together or holding fort in some way, and you feel a little bit out of alignment. That's why you've got these two cards here. Because the history of the Emperor energy, you know, back in the day with Tarot, the Emperor always had a little Fool in the back of the card, which was a reminder that as we mature, life gets serious. We have to think about the long term. We have to think about goals, dreams, bills, you know, formulating structures in order to make sure we have enough money to look after ourselves when we retire, for example, or we can no longer work. So it's a lot of responsibility, and you have a lot of responsibility on your shoulders right now. And it was always a little reminder in the background with the Fool to say, okay, although there's a lot of responsibility and you have a lot going on right now, you have a duty to your work and to your structure that you've built for yourself. Don't forget to have rest or have fun. Don't forget about your playful side. And also, most importantly, don't forget to have fun with what you're doing. A lot of you, with that Hermit energy, you could be searching for inspiration right now because you're exhausted, okay? Cortisol levels, when you're under a lot of pressure and you're exhausted, it can limit creativity. It can make you feel really stuck. So a lot of you, this is, you know, a little nudge to get a little bit more balance and recognize that you're doing a great job and that everything will unfold as it should, okay? So breathe. What is meant for you will never pass you by. Now, on a more practical level with this card, especially with the Emperor there, a lot of you are going to be focused on documentation, you know, contracts, rules, regulations, policies on how you work. I mean, if you work in an office, there could be a test, for example, a phishing test, as it were, like perhaps your IT department sending like a phishing email as a test to see if you're going to click on like an unsolicited link, for example, that could break a firewall if it was something that was real. So you may actually look out for that. I mean, a lot of you would be suspicious. You're very vigilant, my beautiful Scorpio. You can spot something like that a mile away. So I don't even know why I'm mentioning it, but it is coming through, so I have to mention it there. Now, for example, if you are someone who works for yourself, a lot of you could be upgrading your systems at this time, new tools like whatever it is you use for your working environment, but also you could be looking at firewall protection, software that helps protect whatever it is that you're working on. If you're creating something, this is about copywriting it, trademarking it. If you're inventing something, it's about patenting it. Just making sure that you lock down on that, because there is an energy. I mean, you've got wonderful ideas. Even if you work for a company, I mean, and your boss is saying, what do you think about this? And you're like, well, I think this. And they're like, wow, that's an incredible idea. Don't be surprised if they try and make it their own idea, or if they try and spin it that, you know, they had the idea in the first place. Just be a little bit mindful of your ideas. Make sure you own them, okay? Ownership is key. And I would just be, you know, Seven of Swords can be like intellectual property theft, for example. So just be mindful of that if you haven't thought about that when you're creating something, or, you know, even if you are putting forward ideas on how to advance the company you work for, make sure you copy a lot of people in. So it highlights this was your idea, not someone else's, okay? Now, of course, this card indicates a lot of administrative tasks. So you may be looking at service providers if, you know, you work from home, for example, or even if you work for a company. A lot of you may be going through spreadsheets, documentation, filing, all of the stuff. This is the administrative stuff. A lot of you may be making adjustments there. Some of you, if you run your own company, you could be also doing tax time if you haven't done it already, and just be like in the midst of receipts and like all of the stuff. So I feel there's an energy here of you doing a lot of things, having many fingers in many pies, wearing many hats for what you do. And I feel balance, of course, is the key, prioritizing what's important there as well. But also the Justice card is an energy of making sure it's fair. Okay, we've just moved into Libra season, and of course this reading is going to be beyond into your season, my beautiful Scorpio. I mean, looking at the energy, for some of you, if you work for a company, you may actually get a nice token of appreciation there, a little gift for your birthday season, just to let you know that, you know, they see you as an asset. If they don't say it every day, they see you as an asset. And sometimes people do not say those things because they don't want to give you ego, or they don't want you to think that you're so great that you could just migrate somewhere else and be great somewhere else. They want to keep you on side, but I feel it's a fine line, and they may not tell you all the time, okay? But they do see it. They do mean it as well. And if you work for yourself, sometimes, you know, it's really hard. You don't have anyone to validate you or back you or, you know, let you know that you're doing a great job. But the energy supports that and says, actually, you are doing a great job. You're doing it alone with that Hermit energy, you know, and you're someone who's already very established at what you do. And even if you're thinking about moving into different sectors, because you have a lot of new energy with that Fool card and the Page of Swords, you're looking at entering either new arenas. I mean, you're already very established. So even if you work for a company or work for yourself, you may be very established at what you do. You have a certain skill set that is niche. And you may be thinking about either, you know, branching out into different arenas, or in some way looking to leave where you're at or build upon what you have been doing in order to, you know, encompass new things, just to keep it exciting, keep it fresh. Now, the Nine of Pentacles, there is a very much independent energy coming from this, but it is in the resistance position at first, okay? So this can just be a little bit like, be mindful of workaholism, okay? You know, tipping the balance. The Fool is there for a reason. It reminds you, have fun with it. Yes, you're under a lot of pressure. Yes, you're doing something remarkable that is going to lead to a lot of success. But remember why you started it in the first place. Remember how it can set you free, or, you know, build the life that you aspire to. So that's just something that's coming through there as well. The more positive we are about circumstances, the more things we attract to be positive about. And I feel with that Nine of Pentacles, something that you're nurturing is in motion, and it is building, and it is growing into you being financially free or having more financial freedom there as well. A lot of you, if you've done something in the past that can grow over time, I see there is a really nice yield on that. For some of you, depending on the industry you're in, this could be a royalty or a rebate or some sort of, you know, interest on something that you had on your acquisitions before. It just feels like there's a little bit more coming on in over the next coming weeks. Also, I just heard, so this is probably going to resonate with people who run their own business, speculate to accumulate. So some of you could be putting some money into something or investing in something, and it will build over time and bring in a lot more money there as well. Now, because the Nine of Pentacles is there, this is about you portioning off some money that you're locking off, that you're not going to touch. So a lot of you, you know, whether you work for a company or for yourself, I feel like strategically you're being very savvy with your finances, and, you know, you're going to be paying down your debts and all your responsibilities and duties. But that Nine of Pentacles indicates that you're going to be self-disciplined when it comes to your finances. And there may be something that, you know, you're saving for your financial future. Some of you may be going into real estate or wanting to pool your resources into some sort of structure that sets you up for your future. That's definitely coming there as well. Nine of Pentacles actually means that, you know, you are doubling down on your finances, and your future self will thank you, because you're going to be very comfortable in your financial future based on what you're doing right now. Nine, you know, is the Hermit energy. Nine is, you know, Nine of Pentacles is all about very independent energy there. So a lot of you may be contemplating being your own boss if you're not already. So you could be doing two streams of income, because, I mean, we've got the Emperor and we've got the Page of Swords here. Some of you, you know, you could be at a certain level in your career and you're deciding to have a second stream of income in order to build your wealth. These may be ideas that you're having right now. A lot of you may be even thinking about how can you build a business from home if you haven't got this already. And I definitely see that this is something that you could do in your future. But with that Strength energy, You know, my guides gave me the Strength card before I even started your reading. I should have said it, but I didn't, so I can't call it as something that I saw as a vision. But we were reimagining the card, and basically my guides were saying, you're doing something bold and daring and different that other people don't do. You're building a habit that other people don't have within them to be disciplined with, and this is setting you apart from other people. So rather than it just being like, be gentle with yourself, you lead with command but a gentleness. I definitely see that something within your trait as someone who works, but it's also an energy of like, the next 6 weeks you're doing something really bold where you go above and beyond on something and it sets you apart. So if you work for a company, it can be that, you know, suddenly people in positions of authority notice you because you've gone above and beyond. There may be some absences, or there may be some, for some of you, if you work in a certain industry, there may be some redundancies and there's extra work and you're having to clear down that workload, but it actually is setting you apart. Okay, as someone who can encompass a range of skills, and you're up for the challenge, and there's promotion vibes or some sort of more money opportunity coming on in. Could be an increase or a bonus or raise or something there. But I feel a lot of you may be thinking about new money at this time as well. So these ideas, listen to them. They're given to you for a reason. And once you structure them, I feel like you're going to make them fly. Okay. If you are working for yourself, this is about independent money. You may be able to give yourself like a larger dividend, or perhaps you are structuring your money in a way where you can utilize it in order to build upon itself, is what I'm seeing there. Now, because we have that Seven of Swords, I mean, the meaning of the Seven Swords is basically to be independent, to not conform to structure. So it can be that, of course, you've got the Emperor there, so that means you are structured in what you're doing, but it can be that you're trying to find alternative ways to work, to move out of the system, as it were, to be your own boss, to be independent. But also, that Seven of Swords, it's to be your authentic self, okay? You can literally see there that a lot of you could be revealing an idea that you've had for a long time that you've been sitting on, or this idea is starting to be ready to be launched, or it's like the big reveal, as it were. But this card is also a card of like not people pleasing. And I want to talk about this for a moment because I'm getting this energy that sometimes in certain careers or environments, you know, the people who tend to get ahead faster, you know, they tend to be people who cozy up to the boss, tell them what they need to hear, what they think they want to hear, okay? But you're the sort of person, you're very authentic. You know, you tell it how it is. And sometimes people can't take that truth, okay? So I feel like you've been learning to communicate in a healthier way, to kind of like sit on diplomacy as a way of saying, okay, I'm still telling you the truth. I'm not softening the blow, but at the same time, you know, I want you to be aware I'm telling you the truth because I'm on your side. I want things to be better, because when things are better for your boss or for the company, they're better for you and for everyone involved. So I get this energy of a misunderstanding here, okay, for some of you. And this can be, as I said earlier, the price of being real. You're someone who's real. You tell it how it is. Even if someone makes a mistake, you call it out and say, hey, look, you know, because I feel some of you may have to return to someone else's mistake during the next 6 weeks. I hate to give you that message, but it's something that's coming out there. So just be mindful. And because the Nine of Pentacles is there as well, with this Seven of Swords, I would say just be mindful of personal property as well, okay? You know, where you put it. So for example, if you're someone who goes off to like a cafe to type and do your writing or work, whatever it is, just be mindful of having like your cell phone on the side, because there could be an opportunist who suddenly goes, oh, I'm going to have that. And you're like, oh, no. I mean, this is to be vigilant. That's why I'm mentioning this, okay? And you're someone who's often hyper vigilant. Don't be paranoid, but I would say that, you know, you command the energy, you're instinctive, you get it before it happens. But just be aware that there is a potential. So even if like you work in an office and, you know, you normally leave your items on your desk and you just pop out for a coffee or whatever, you know, just be mindful during the next 6 weeks to kind of like maybe just lock it in your drawer if that's a thing, or take it with you or whatever, just because there could be an opportunist. I hate to mention it. I actually feel it's not someone who's working within your company. If you are working for a company, I feel it's someone who could be like coming on in to do something like momentary or part-time. Okay, so that's just something that's there. Again, I hate to mention it, but it's there. Okay. Also, some of you may be thinking about seasonal work at this time, or part-time, or some sort of freelance work. If you're a freelancer, okay, I would say that there is a dream opportunity coming on in here that will repeat a cycle. You will return to this person time and time again, or this company time and time again, and it just gives you the freedom that you want. I mean, whoever you are and whatever industry you're working in, I feel like, yes, there's structure, but you can have freedom in that structure to do what you do best and have creative control in some way, or be left in charge or have more responsibility, but it actually sits really well for you because it sets you up for the next steps of whatever it is that you're doing. The Emperor is a sense of duty, but also it is large promotion vibes. So I see, if you work for yourself, this is you being your own boss and expanding your reach and basically having more command. For some of you, if you work for a company, this is definitely an energy here of you reaching a position where you're stepping into a role that has more duty or responsibility, more status, more command, more control there. But also, as you can see on this shield, there's an owl, knowledge. In silence comes wisdom. So a lot of you are moving in silence right now. This is a card of you potentially moving under the radar, perhaps learning new skills to open up new opportunities, bring in more money. Maybe you're doing like a side hustle already, moonlighting, or doing something that perhaps is bringing in extra finances. Nobody needs to know about it. You're doing your own thing. And I feel like you're totally bossing up there as well. But the Emperor is all about structure, and your knowledge is the key to your success. And you're someone who came to this lifetime, as I mentioned earlier, you're voracious for knowledge. You are the great investigator. So that will help you do your research, help you develop, but also help you sustain and maintain your position, because the Emperor always works hard to maintain their position. The Emperor does not sit on their laurels of success. As I mentioned, as soon as you're successful, you're on to the next. You're building all the time. And with that Emperor energy, because my guide said, you're not finished with it, you're not finished with it. My guides always tell me which card to go on to next. The Emperor can indicate maturity. So, a lot of you, if you're retired right now, for example, you could be looking at structures to help, protect your finances at this time. I would say always do your due diligence. Make sure, if you're getting advice, get it from someone who's qualified. This is a qualified person. So that will help you and give you peace of mind. A lot of you are thinking about retirement, 401ks, structures for when you mature, and making sure that you protect your finances. Always get advice, as I mentioned there. But I mean, you've got the eagle on this card. And although this is an Aries card, it connects to Aries energy, that go-getting spirit. You're embodying that energy. It is intrinsically linked to you anyway. And of course, the eagle is about you kind of seeing your plans from a bird's eye view and being locked onto a goal and then swooping in when the moment is right to accomplish it, and then you're on to the next. I mean, the Fool card is so exciting because a lot of you, this is your commitments, bringing excitement, so much potential there. I mean, definitely a great time to launch something for you all if you're doing that. But if you see a lot of your cards here right now, there's so many connections, all those nines there. That's exciting because it's all about independent working, independent money, but also you got these birds. So some of you could be thinking about migrating your business or structuring a business where you have links abroad. But that Fool card, no matter what you do, I mean, even if you are an artist and you sell your work, it could be that you're shipping a lot of your work abroad there. Yeah, there's going to be tariffs and taxes and you know the drill. It's going to be a lot of money and all of the stuff, and you're factoring that in. So a lot of you could be calculating the finances that you make out of whatever it is you do, making sure that there is some sort of balance. You may be looking at wins and losses when it comes to your finances, but I feel, you're going to love the outcome there, and it just feels like you're having a spring in your step. You're ready, and, you're advancing, you're moving forward. If you are someone who is shipping, just be a little bit mindful of delays. I mean, there could be some rules and regulations changing as well regarding infrastructure. So always best to keep abreast of any changes there. But I see that with the Emperor energy, get advice if you need it. But if not, do your due diligence. I feel the structure, you're just going to be happy with the way things work out there. I mean, the Fool card can be to take a leap of faith. And that can be to either purchase a new piece of kit or, launch an idea or launch a business or, foster a connection, go to a networking event, or go to something that's just a little bit out there and alternative in order to advance in your industry. But I see it as a new start. So a lot of you, it can be that, you're simplifying the way that you work in order to be more structured, more time efficient. And it leads you to having like new energy and more time to be doing other things. I mean, a lot of you, because of the cards and the way they've come out, I would say be vigilant about contracts or insurance and things like that coming to an end, visas, passports, important documents that you may need for work or travel or just running your life smoothly. A lot of you could be looking at certain service providers that you feel are not giving you the service that you require. It may be shoddy service. This doesn't have to be connected to career or your work. This could be some sort of like, I don't know, subscription that you're connected to that perhaps, has you paying for access to a certain like media streaming service, for example. And you're like, you know what? There's nothing on there to watch. I've watched everything. There's nothing new. You may be like taking your business elsewhere because these two cards can be that you're taking business elsewhere. It's time. You feel instinctive. It doesn't align with your morals or your, maybe with your pay. It can be that you're like, okay, there's constant interruptions, or it just doesn't feel like I want to connect to this service anymore. So whatever that is, I'm just giving you an example, but I feel like you're moving on and you're going to find a company that you align with that actually you may be able to save more money with, because the Nine of Pentacles is always about portioning off the money and, giving a little bit, but also retaining a lot. Okay. Strength card, you're bold, you're daring, and you're walking your talk. Basically, you are the ruler of your domain, and whatever industry you are in, you're leading with passion. And I would say that you're someone who is to be respected. The lion is respected. You command because you have knowledge. The Hermit tells me you have a lot of wisdom, both acquired and also natural. And you're always keeping abreast of things. Page of Swords means you keep up with trends. You're always advancing in your knowledge to stay relevant in your industry. And we've got the Magician energy. So whenever you get a magician energy, it means you're super talented. It means you can do everything. Anything you turn your hand to, you can turn it into a success. And sometimes when there are setbacks, maybe this is when you're being set up for the next path. Sometimes things fall apart before they fall together in the right way. So if you have been receiving any like challenges, delays, or setbacks, I feel this was the pause to help you get new knowledge or see a new structure that can help you be more streamlined. Sometimes we follow a path and it's hard. The energy, it just feels like you're pushing through mud. You're exhausted. But then suddenly, something comes along for the universe to nudge you to abandon that path. The goal is still the same. A new path opens up. That's what that Fool card is all about. The new path is easier. The new path is, a direct path to all that you desire. Magician card is a wish becoming material on the earthly plane. As above, so below. As above basically means air. Okay, air is connected to thought, to the mind. As above, so your thoughts become things. Below is the earth. It is something tangible, material. So as you think, so you shall have. So it's basically the seeds that you're sowing right now, you're going to reap the rewards of it, and you're commanding a lot of attention in your industry, whatever that is, okay? So I'm just going to go and get some final cards. Look at that. Say yes to the things you think you cannot do. I feel like you are taking on more, or, perhaps there is this thing that you're reaching for and you're like, oh my gosh, it seems so far away. If you think about that Hermit energy, the star seems so far away. And yet that person is rising up to meet that star. You're rising up to meet the position you want to be in your career. You're overcoming obstacles. You're rising up in order to be structured and be on top of your financial goals, to set yourself up to win, basically, okay? So I'm just getting some final cards just to close off your reading, my beautiful Scorpio. Thank you so much, Spirit Guides, Guardian Angels. I think they won that card. Oh, and that one. Okay, so we have I've already shown you this one. Say yes to the things you think you can't do, okay? As I said, a lot of you could be taking on some extra work, and this sets you apart. You know, whether it is that you're taking on extra responsibility or clearing down workloads and maybe even other people's workloads at some point, okay? It's important to recognize that it sets you up for the next part of your journey. We also have spirituality. Now, some of you, because we're coming up to your birthday season, and I hope you have a magical birthday indeed, my beautiful Scorpio. This is a period where you may actually book a personal one-on-one tarot reading, and you may even speak to like a medium or a psychic, for example, and they're going to pretty much highlight what's going on for you if you're focused on your career in that reading. But it's basically an indication. It connects to the Hermit, because the Hermit is all about spirituality, but also it's about guidance. A lot of you are, visualizing and contemplating the next steps on your strategy. You're seeking guidance, and a lot of you are in research mode on something in order to get that information to guide you. So this can be just about guidance, okay? It says here you're being guided to discover your own unique spiritual path at this time. I mean, some of you may literally go into a spiritual practice. It doesn't have to be tarot. It can be Reiki, can be yoga to, align your body. It can be, because you've got a balance card there, so it can be that, you bring people into alignment. It could be a counselor, could be anybody who, basically helps people align with their true self, their true authentic self there. But it also says here, you may become a spiritual advisor, healer, or anything in the occult. So some of you may be called to that, of course. But also it says your finances can use some extra help there. So ask your angels and guides for assistance. But this could be relevant for some of you as a personal kind of like gift to yourself during this time. But we also have stability. Bars of gold, locking in your wealth. I mean, some of you may literally go into precious metals in order to house your finances. Always good during an economic volatility period. So a lot of people could be doing that. I mean, I don't know anything about that, so you'd have to get advice on that, of course. But it says here, your financial future promises to be stable and prosperous. But I feel like you're going for gold, okay? You're locking something in and you are solidifying your financial future. Also, we've got take control of your finances to create stability in your life, which I feel like you're doing. You're being stricter with your finances there. Excellent time to take action on any money-related ventures. I'm so excited for you, my beautiful Scorpio. This is a great reading for you. Many talents, yes, I mentioned it in your reading. Anything you turn your hand to, you can do it. So I feel this is about you locking into what you enjoy doing. Remember why you're doing it in the first place, because you can choose, okay? I know it's really hard right now and everyone is overstretched and overworked. That Hermit energy tells me that you are exhausted and you do need to rest. You do need to temper your pace, okay? And you will find time to do that. It says you have a lot of skills to discover and use for good. Don't sell yourself short. As I said earlier, yes, it's unfair sometimes and you may need to negotiate a better deal or find more balance in your working environment for the gifts that you have. Never sell yourself short. Remember to value yourself there. And we have creative work. A typewriter. So some of you with that Page of Swords may literally be writing something, documenting something, creating a course, maybe a book, handbook, maybe you're training someone, but this is you creating something, or maybe even just structuring, writing down lists, okay? But it says use your inspiration, because you are reaching for inspiration, to make more money, to find ways to make more money. Express your genius. Yes, I mean, I didn't even say this, but when you look up the meaning of a Page of Swords, it is a genius idea. It means you are so intelligent, you're paying attention. It means that you're scholarly, so you have a lot of knowledge and you're applying that knowledge and you're protecting your position. So I'm going to leave it there because that was a lot, but it had to come through for a reason. So I'm just going to go and give you a trinket or rune. Okay, so we have a mask. Okay, now when we have a mask, this can be like a secret stash. Okay, so some of you locking off that money to have a secret stash that you cannot touch. Maybe it's like a secret stash that you're going to pretend to forget about so you can't touch it either, so that you can save for the future there. The mask can also connect, as I said. Just be mindful of where you park your finances and, where you put your possessions there. But also this can be like an energy of, walking your talk, as I mentioned, being independent and saving your finances A lot of you, especially since you have the Emperor and the Seven of Swords, you may not trust, governmental structures at this time, and you're keeping an eye, you're being vigilant on the economy, for example. So you're being very savvy with your finances and learning more about structuring to protect your wealth. And I would say that's a good time to be doing this. Also, we got a backpack. I mean, some of you may be traveling with your work or taking your work overseas, or maybe you're going to lock yourself away in a cafe or maybe even a co-working environment in order to do what you got to do. But this, I always see this as like your bag of tools. What do you need to do what you do? What do you need to work your magic and be brilliant? This is like you simplifying, locking it all in and saying, this is what I need and let's get moving. So I feel this is a great period for you to move forward on something or launch something. I mean, if you think about the Fool card, because my guide said, look at the Fool, look at the Fool. The Fool card, they've got their own little backpack. So it's like you're on the move with something, and I feel it's a very exciting time for you to literally be the ripple effect in your own financial story, okay? So I'll leave it there. I hope something resonates, my beautiful Scorpio. Thank you so much, and love and light.